Wael Massrieh is the Chief Scientific Officer, for all intents and purposes, the Vice President of Scientific Affairs for Neptune, which is one of my favorite companies. Neptune, Wael, without me getting ahead of myself, is a company that attracted my attention because when I would walk into a health food store after my doctor said, look, you don't want to get on fish oil, you want to get on krill oil. Mm-hmm. I looked at the packaging, and a lot of the packaging had this stamp that said NKO krill oil. NKO is Neptune Krill Oil.
Correct.
You guys are the leading provider in the space of manufacture of krill oil. Tell us some of the benefits of taking krill oil. I've seen a lot of infomercials. I've seen Dr. Oz, and everybody's sort of jumping on the bandwagon now. But tell us about that from a scientific standpoint.
Okay, well, I will start by saying that we are the pioneers of this industry, and we're very proud of that. Krill has been captured and used for many, many years before Neptune came around. It was actually targeted for animal feed and aquaculture and baiting. So what Neptune came into the market and did was extract the oil and provide it for humans as for human health benefits, and that was what we pioneered. So some of the benefits of krill oil are that it improves your cardiovascular health, and when you look into that, it actually reduces your triglycerides, it reduces your bad cholesterol, and increases your good cholesterol. So it actually does three things for your heart health. But it also has other benefits, and those are cognitive health. So we've actually done a study showing an improvement of the concentration, the focus, and the planning skills of ADHD patients. And then we have a study done on osteoarthritic patients that actually saw an improvement in the pain, the stiffness, and the functional impairment of their joints. And then the last study that was done was actually on women's health, where we showed that there is an improvement of both the physical and emotional symptoms during PMS.
So there are some obvious benefits to taking this for your brain as well, not only for your heart.
Correct. Omega-3s actually are known to have benefits for cognitive health. In fact, DHA is well studied for that. The advantage of our product, though, is that it's not only providing omega-3s for your brain, but it actually also provides phospholipids. And phospholipids are actually very important because they have many different classes. And within the class of phospholipids that we have, there's a certain class called phosphatidylcholine that is known to be necessary for neurotransmission between synapses in the brain.
Now, so from a business standpoint and an investor's standpoint, we're looking at a business here that was already the leader in the over-the-counter krill oil manufacturing and distribution platform, right? Then you guys looked at it and said, well, what happens if we decide to go the pharmaceutical route and start really doing clinical trials with the FDA and so forth and seeing what the benefits are? We saw what happened with Leveza. You may have taken a page from their playbook, and you decided first to do a spin-off called Acasti, which is a really exciting company with Harlan Waxel of ImClone now leading the charge there. Tell us about your thinking and what you decided to do as a business with that spin-off.
Going the pharmaceutical route has always been in the mission of Neptune. When Neptune was created, that was the long-term goal. We obviously didn't think that it would be possible at that time to do it right away. So Neptune has created the dietary supplement business of selling Neptune Krill Oil as a stepping stone to the big home run, as I like to call it, for selling the pharmaceutical grade of the krill oil.
So from an investor standpoint, that's an important thing to think about, because now all of a sudden you've got shares in a company that not only is a leader and a manufacturer, and you're expanding capacity and you're doing all these things, you're hitting milestones, which is terrific. But now you've got ownership as well by being an owner of Neptune stock in Acasti, which is the pharmaceutical, going after the pharmaceutical drug that's going to help your heart. There's another spinoff that's been announced, which is going to be looking at the pharmaceutical benefits of krill oil for your brain. Tell us about that.
This company is actually called NeuroBioPharm, and it will be spun off in the next couple of months. And it's going to follow a very similar strategy to how Acasti was successfully spun out. And the idea there is basically that the Neptune shareholders will actually have access to ownership of NeuroBioPharm before it actually even starts trading publicly.
Yeah, so one of the things that's interesting from a biotech investing standpoint is Acasti, for example, trades only in Canada right now. We're able to buy it. If you're smart enough, you can try to figure out a way, but it's not really as easy to get shares of Acasti. However, if you own shares of Neptune, you're able to take advantage of whatever happens, the blue sky stuff, with Acasti because you have a direct ownership in that company. What percentage of ownership did you maintain?
So for Acasti, it's actually 57%. And for NeuroBioPharm, we're aiming to just dilute it by 10%. So we'll still have 90% ownership.
So that's even going to be a greater benefit when you spin off the NeuroBioPharm.
Exactly.
Now, what's important from the trading and investment perspective that I want to point out to people, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's more of a question, is as we look at Acasti, your ownership of it in Neptune, Acasti is not going to be moving to an American exchange in one form or another until after they get clinical data. The rumblings that we're hearing on Wall Street are that the clinical data is probably going to be fantastic. You've gotten Harlan Waxel out of retirement from Inclome to come and run this company. He's seeing something here that's going to be great. But they're not going to move Acasti to the American exchange until after the clinical data. So you theoretically, by being an owner of Neptune stock, will be able to take advantage of that run-up after the clinical data is announced, and then you decide, all right, based on this clinical data, let's go ahead and move over to an American exchange.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is correct in my assumption?
Yes, that is correct, yes.
Okay.
And like I want to just re-emphasize that point you made is that the situation has been de-risked in several ways. The fact that the raw material that we sell as Neptune sells as Neptune Krill Oil already has a clinical study showing that there's an improvement in the triglycerides, the LDL, the HDL. But even for the pharmaceutical grade, there are some preclinical studies that we've done going head-to-head with Loveza, where the Capri, the pharmaceutical product that's being going through the phase 2 and phase 3, has actually showed superiority over Loveza in reducing triglycerides. So it is something that I always like to refer to as a de-risk for the situation. It's not like your typical biotech that is hoping to demonstrate an effect in a phase 2 or phase 3. We already have shown that in other models.
The other thing that makes you different from a typical biotech play is the fact that you're a leading manufacturer, the leading manufacturer of this krill oil product, which I'm seeing infomercials on and so forth. You've got stake in all that. I mean, you're selling this product to some of those infomercial companies, but you're also recently you've announced that you've expanded the plant. How's that going? Are you meeting your milestones with all that?
Yeah, actually, we're very proud of that. We started starting the expansion of the plant back in the end of 2011. It's actually at 30% advancement right now. I did want to go back and just mention that Neptune is unique because you were saying how different and interesting Neptune is. It's because Neptune actually is profitable. It is cash flow positive, which is not something that you typically see. So that's how we like to differentiate ourselves from the other companies that are there. So already it goes back to the point that the situation is de-risked in so many ways. You have some clinical study support. You already have some cash flow being generated. And it's a good place to be in.
And I would think from a cash flow generating biotech standpoint, you guys are doing well. You're meeting your milestones. That's one of the other things that impresses me about your group is that you guys are coming in, you're saying we're going to do it, and you're getting it done. I would expect then as you increase your capacity for manufacturing and you're increasing your distribution possibilities and outlets and other companies are wanting this product, you're going to see better cash flow and better profitability, et cetera?
Exactly, yeah. And now our current capacity, I would say previous capacity, because it was 150 metric tons before we started the expansion, the capacity is going to actually go up to 300 metric tons by the end of the year. So that actually means that we're going to end up doubling our revenues by the end of the year if the whole capacity is capitalized on.
As you're doing a presentation for investors and letting them know about Neptune, which is still a relatively undiscovered stock, by the way.
Yeah.
What is the one slide during your presentation, the one bit of information that you hope, okay, I hope the investment community is paying attention to this. This is what I want them to walk away with. What is that?
I actually recently added the slide at the end of my presentation, and I basically drew 3 circles. In one of those circles, I drew, and I included in there the statin market with a $35 billion value that it has. And I drew another circle that had the Niaspan, which is the drug that Abbott sells and increases the HDL, and that's $2 billion. And then on the top, I had Amarin and Loveza on there that reduce triglycerides. And then I have Neptune in there that overlaps to all 3 circles. And basically, I put a question mark on there, and I leave it to the investors to see what they think the real value of it is if you get to touch a little bit of all those three circles.
It's an exciting company, and obviously from a scientific standpoint, from a business standpoint, from a generating revenue standpoint, and you're starting to make your mark with more visibility. So it seems like a fantastic play. Is there anything that keeps you up at night that you worry about?
Yes, my mom sometimes complains from joint pain, so I think of my mom. And you know what? I actually I send my mom Neptune Krill Oil all the time. Whenever somebody goes back home, I make sure that I send her a lot of bottles because it helps her a lot with her joint pain. So that's it's another great thing of working for a company that the product works really well.